As we already talked about in our lectures, the way of doing business has changed a lot over the last couple of years due to the globalization. These days, interactions among people, companies, and governments on a worldwide basis are part of our everyday life. On the one hand, globalization gives us the opportunity to interact with many different countries very easily, and even poorer countries get the opportunity to develop. On the other hand, these countries now often get exploited by richer nations as they now have a lot of influence. I now want to talk about the example of Donald Trump, who's very well known for these kind of actions, for example through trade barriers, and this is part of his America's First economic policy, but also his leadership. As the United States of America are an economically highly successful country, they also have a lot of influence on international economic developments. In order to improve their own trade-off balance, which means the difference between the monetary value of a nation's exports and imports, Donald Trump implemented tariffs on products from the European Union, Canada and Mexico, and the most current topic are the tariffs on Chinese products. Especially the tariffs on the Chinese products now led to a so-called trade war between these two nations, as both kept increasing the tariffs on each other's products. These tariffs have significantly affected the US trade levels, which means that prices are rising and it reduces the options for consumers and businesses in the United States. As the USA are a very influential country, also other nations' economies are going to get hurt and political tension could be rising between these countries. As mentioned before, the handling of international trade and creating economic pressure can also be used as a political weapon, and I want to explain this concept also on an example concerning the United States. As it is very well known, the Latin American country Venezuela experiences a socioeconomic and political crisis at the moment, even though it has been the world's largest oil exporter in the past. Already in 2016, the United States, but also other countries, tried to pressure Venezuela by imposing sanctions. But in 2019, Donald Trump signed an executive order to impose an embargo against Venezuela, which makes the current situation even worse for the total population. In those examples, it gets clear how Donald Trump is able to influence but also pressure other countries on an economic and political level by using his country's strong economic position in international trading. It is normal for a head of state to try and improve his country's economic situation, as this also improves other factors like the standard of living. But especially countries like the United States that have a lot of influence have to be aware of the responsibility they have in a social, environmental and economic field. And they also have to think about other countries and parties that are involved or affected by their decisions.